Ha 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 ha! Halloween is there and it's time for a horror story. One where efficiency is killing productivity. But first, a warning. This contains terrifying content that some find disturbing. See you soon. Before we continue, who of you is working in product development, creative work, research or any other domain where brains are the main asset? Bet you raised your hands. This horror story is for you. It's called Efficiency in Organizations Has Become Counterproductive. Take the holy grail of efficiency, clarity, measurement, accountability. It makes human efforts derail. And yes, I've been tricked into it myself. My work while being tricked and still today is about solving unknown new problems every day, flexible and collaboratively. And as many others, I lost my capabilities to collaborate in the name of efficiency. I was being measured on productivity, on efficiency, in terms of how busy I was. I was 100% of my time working on tasks given to me, participating in boring, useless meetings. I had no time to really know who were my teammates except of the early team building. I felt frustrated about that, even though I was considered a top performer, the best of the best in my domain. I learned that there is no use for organizations to win the war on talent if that's the only thing they are looking at. How we work together is the essence, how we contribute to the effort of others. I discovered that with true collaboration, you can do more with less. So let's see what happens with collaboration when the holy grail of efficiency kicks in. When clarity, measurements, accountability take an appearance. Clarity. We need to clarify roles, clarify processes, and put that onto paper, mental contracts. Imagine a runner in an estafette, a baton race. Team would say, let's be clear, when does my role start and stop? Do I need to run for 95 meters or is it 97 meters? If you say 97, then they'll drop the baton at 97 meters, no matter if the other runner is there or not. How do we know when the optimal moment is there to pass the baton? We can't, but in our organizations we do pretend we can. Believe me, I tried and failed many times as well, but at least I learned from it. Accountability. We need to put accountability in somebody's hands. Who is accountable for this crucial process? Who is accountable to deliver the contract? Going back to our baton race, since passing the baton is so important, we must have somebody accountable for it. So between each runner we would have a new dedicated role accountable for passing the baton between runner A and runner B. And we would need at least two of that. Would we win the race? No idea, but we would definitely have a clear process with clear roles, clear lines, contracts to live by, and as such, know who to blame. In name of efficiency, organizations are paying more attention to whom to blame in case they fail than creating the conditions to succeed. And they fail often. Being part inside acquisitions, I can also state that the more complex the organization becomes, in the name of clarity, measurements and accountability, we multiply structures, processes, systems, creating mental contracts between different actors in that same system. This is triggering a counterproductive generation of interfaces, coordinators, middle management, handoffs, all contracted, prescribed in detail, in the name of clarity Everybody loses. According to analysis, we see that the total amount of people in organizations are wasting 40 and 80%, up to 80% of their time in such a setup. And I was no exception to that. I was working harder and harder, longer and longer, and less value-adding activities. Efficiency is what killing productivity. Organizations are wasting intelligence by setting up those kinds of mental contracts, layers and interfaces. Let us quickly explore one of the most simple examples of a less mental, more physical contract that is there for clarity, measurements and accountability, all at the same time. Let's explore this kind of contracting game in the name of clarity, measurements and accountability, where party A needs something from party B, and party A is paying for it. A will always go more, with little money of course. B will always go less, out of previous experiences with contracts like those. So the game is on. More, less, more. And then the game comes to a climax. A paper is created with all details representing the so-called consensus, describing what will happen by what time and for which kind of money, a plan. But when is this contract used for in reality? When do people pop up this document? It's not during execution as business analysts or reanalyzing needs and inventing extras at the same time. Techies are also building the needs according to specifications coming from the business analyst, or at least we wish. So when is it really used? When things go wrong. Let me repeat it. When things go wrong. And why? To blame the other party as much as possible. Considering this behavior, we could conclude that a contract, mental or not, is created and signed when both parties maximize their opportunity to shift blame to the other party. Let me repeat again. A contract is formalized when all parties maximize their opportunity to shift blame to the other party. So why do we spend so much time on them? In the name of efficiency. We need clarity, measurements, and somebody accountable. But how efficient is it really? I was lucky, and not because my boss got fired and replaced by a different one. I realized that I was focusing on the wrong things and chose to leave the dark side behind me. I took my responsibility to change my own personal situation. Those changes were noticed in the organization, and I grew from managing one team towards not managing really, but leading 400 plus people in about an 8 years time frame. How did I do this? I realized that true collaboration between individual parties is key to create something truly useful. Clarity shifted from knowing who's accountable to shared learning instead. A lot healthier environment to be in. Even though some of you might like horror stories, I would still urge you to move away from the dark side. Happy Halloween to all. See you in the next video. Bye bye.